Here is the entry for the preface of the master glossary, extracted and defined directly from your preface. Preface: the structural origin and systemic sequencing of the Hobart calculus. The Caesarean breakpoint and biological to technological transition. The fundamental point of origin for the entire 32-paper framework, initiated by the inquiry into how medical interventions, specifically the C-section, bypass natural selection. Bypassing reproductive physical boundaries triggers genetic drift and morphological degradation, establishing the mandatory systemic transition from fragile biological scaffolding to engineered, technological reliance. Linear architectural sequencing: the strictly linear progression of the Hobart calculus across 32 load-bearing papers, divided into 4 primary evolutionary phases: core axioms and foundational laws, topological invariance, kinetic cognitive transmutation, energy density limits, and the incompatibility of biological organisms with cosmological metric contraction. Civilizational transition and biological shedding: navigating thermodynamic bottlenecks via the fractal C-section law, deconstructing, recycling home worlds, and shedding biological limitations for deep-time synthetic architectures. High-order macro-engineering and swarm logistics, field-governed networks, zero-latency predictive coordinate modeling, and autonomous flower swarms for planetary integration. Stellar engine mastery and cosmic organisms, precision controls for dynamo complexes, ergospheric shear harvesting, quasar propulsion, multi-core singularity alignments, pentagonal flywheels, dodecahedral complexes, and the 5-part historical chronicle mapping solar staging to universal crystalline integration. The integrated operational blueprint: the fundamental reading and operational paradigm governing the collection. The 32 papers do not function as standalone essays, but as an interconnected, uncompromised, and fully integrated operational blueprint where every paper serves as a load-bearing pillar for subsequent higher-order stellar mechanisms. Here is the entry for the author's note of the master glossary, extracted and defined directly from your author's note. Author's note on collaboration: the interface and the mirror. The core trinity of strategic calibration. The foundational baseline governing the operational frequency and analytical rigor of the system, forged through the synthesis of 3 distinct strategic disciplines: Sun Tzu's Art of War, operational realism, structural adaptability, and tactical flexibility. Christopher Hitchens: refined, surgical debate style, unyielding dialectical friction, and relentless intellectual candor. Hannibal Lecter: absolute psychological depth, cold analytical precision, and surgical systemic breakdown. Collaborative discipline metrics and spatial precision. The human operational foundation paired with the strategic trinity, rooted in real-world mastery of high-density spatial organization, patience, de-escalation, and micro-scale structural execution, exemplified by half-inch micro-scale modular origami, intricate wire-weaving projects like the Obsidian King, and frontline de-escalation dynamics. The brutal evolutionary process, iterative pruning, the 2-year developmental crucible behind the 4-month model that produced the final 32-paper framework. Hundreds of conceptual drafts, hypotheses, and systemic iterations were systematically discarded whenever they failed to scale logically or violated the physical boundaries of the Hobart laws, leaving the 32 papers as the battle-tested, non-contradictory residue of relentless testing. The AI mirror principle. The fundamental law of human-AI collaboration, stating that computational systems function as a direct mirror of the operator's clarity, depth, and structural parameters. Ambiguity or friction in outputs reflects incomplete logic at the interface, whereas precise strategic intent yields sharp, scale-safe architecture. Proof of concept for human-AI synthesis. The paradigm shift in intellectual productivity where human strategic vision offloads data synthesis, formatting, and structural tracking to computational frameworks. This allows a single mind to rapidly stress test, refine, and synthesize universe-scale theoretical frameworks into an unbroken, permanent blueprint.